Season 5 is off to a really quick and strong start so far. With the first 2 episodes of Season 5 officially being out, I have 3 big takeaways. If you're currently watching The Boys, or if you haven't seen Season 5 of The Boys, go ahead and skedoodle because there's going to be some spoilers I want to talk about. First and foremost, I was a little disappointed with A-Train being taken out in episode 1. I knew A-Train was going to meet his end this season. I just didn't quite see it happening like that. And while I expected A-Train to not survive the first half of the season, the saddest thing about them taking out A-Train in the first episode is that we didn't see him get any good action parts. And even when you look at his whole arc through the whole show, we only really see him fight one time. In season 1, we kind of see him fight Starlight, but then his heart gives out. And then we see him fight the Deep in season 4, and that's really the only bit of fighting action that we get from A-Train. He has some other big impactful moments, like his run with Blue Hawk, but taking him out in the first episode and not even giving him any chance to fight, my ideal A-Train send-off would have at least included A-Train getting a few good hits in on Homelander. And while hands were not thrown with Homelander, some final words were. When Homelander does finally catch up to A-Train having biffed it because he tried to avoid the girl that was walking across the street, pins A-Train against a tree, where all A-Train can do is just laugh at him. When A-Train finally gets to tell Homelander how he feels. What was I so afraid of? You're nothing, just an empty suit. Take away the powers, and then what are you? Pathetic, weak, a sniveling fucking loser. Epic choice of final words as he dies laughing when Homelander breaks his neck. Not the send-off I wanted for A-Train. I wanted him to at least take out the Deep and then get a good few hits on Homelander. I know A-Train is just the first casualty of many this season, but I just wasn't ready for it to be this early in the season. Kimiko breaks her silence in season 5, and I'm actually kind of enjoying it. Now, I will admit she doesn't quite sound like what I first imagined she would sound when she started talking, just with like how enthusiastic she is with like her hand talking when she's talking to Frenchie, and honestly with just how good of a fighter she is. I thought she sounded a little bit more like raspy, or maybe like a little bit more gruff like, but her upbeat, cheery voice fits her even better, and I love it. She tells Annie that it took her a ton of speech therapy, and she watched a ton of TikTok, her words. And let me tell you, her therapist from season 4 was obviously not cutting it, because 1 year with a different therapist and excessive TikTok use did absolute wonders for her speech growth. She kind of reminds me of a kid when they first learn how to curse and how to roast people. They don't know the limit of when too much is too much, and they're still learning how to even talk to people with that kind of tone. And so we just get some extremely out of pocket moments with Kimiko this season. Here's a couple of zingers that she lets out just in the first episode. That makes me angry and want to tit slap you and then hug you. You need to shower. You smell like a Wingstop bathroom. Your voice makes me want to kill myself. And then she follows it up with, oh, was that a bad thing to say? Now listen, while hearing her voice was a little jarring at first, it took me till maybe the end of the episode to kind of get used to it. Since then, it's actually been kind of growing on me, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The last point I want to touch on is Ashley's survival. Ashley has survived this long, but is she gonna survive season 5 even with her new powers? Ashley always seems to have luck on her side, a sick, twisted version of luck, but still luck nonetheless. She has moved up so much in the world since we first saw her in season 1. From being Stillwell's assistant and then getting fired, to then being rehired as the CEO of Vought after Stillwell gets got, to then surviving the massacre of God U, surviving a dosing of Compound V, which we know is dangerous for grown adults to take because it doesn't bond as well. It works best with children. We've seen a few cases of it working with adults, but it worked with Ashley, and that just makes her even more lucky. And from there, she keeps punching up. She becomes the vice president of the United States of America, and then she marries Father. The one big takeaway I was most excited for though was seeing that Ashley has powers, and they were not what I was expecting either. I was expecting some like super hair power, kind of like what we saw in Gen V, and though Ashley's powers aren't what I thought, I'm not disappointed, because that Compound V went straight to her head. Quite literally, she grew a face on the back of her head, and I think it's super similar to how when Butcher took Compound V. Instead of bonding with Butcher, the Compound V bonded with the cancer instead. So instead of bonding with Ashley, I think the Compound V actually bonded with Ashley's subconscious. And so now Ashley has a face on the back of her head, and not just any face, this face is psychic. It's able to feed Ashley information while she's in conversation with people, so she can have the upper hand when it comes to having conversation, although her face can't read Sage. But the thing I love most about Ashley's ability, her new second face, it's trying to push Ashley to be a better person and to do better things. We have seen Ashley be incredibly selfish throughout the entire show of The Boys. But what if Ashley's power, her subconscious psychic face, pushes Ashley to do something selfless by the end of the show, either sacrificing herself or putting herself at risk in order to save a whole bunch of people? All I know is I think Ashley's going to do something really big this season, and that thing is going to be an extremely selfless act, and I can't wait for it. A-Train meeting his end and Kimiko learning to talk, all topped off with Ashley officially being two-faced. Season 5 is off to a pretty good start.